All right, and for good measure, we close out that first page. We've now seen pretty much every one of our derivative rules. We had a product rule, we had a chain rule, we now have our quotient rule. So lots of different ways to tackle this question. I did ask you for simplification, so that ended up being a handful of the points. But this is a quotient rule. We have a low and a high, right? I said the names in the wrong spots, but we should know our quotient rule. We have our denominator times the derivative of our numerator. We had a lot of people get this first derivative wrong. The derivative of, child, stop talking. The derivative of the square root of t, right? This is t to the 1/2. That's a nice power rule. This should be a 1/2 t to the negative 1/2. I've talked about it in class. At some point, you probably want to have, like before you head in to Calc 2, Calc 3, have this memorized as opposed to doing all this work to rewrite it as a fractional exponent. But that's what we ended up with. A lot of you were missing the 1/2. You did get a t to the negative 1, but you didn't have a 1/2 for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there. And then plus 2. And then we need our numerator function and the derivative of our denominator. Oops, almost left a square on there. Right, and this is all over my denominator squared. Now, some of you left that denominator off too. That was another mistake I saw come around here. But doing the quotient rule should have been the easy part of this. Most of the points were for the simplification, going and figuring out how to get this out negative exponents. Now, when I wrote it, I immediately just went, well, of course, you're going to need to multiply through the numerator and denominator by the square root of t. That's the only way, not the only way, but one of the only ways to deal with the fact that right now we have a t to the negative 1/2 or a fraction within a fraction, right? But it turns out if you just did a little bit of distribution here, you got out of trouble because everything in that other binomial bit that we're multiplying by over here has a t. So if you did that, I mean, you still had a 2, so there was maybe a little tiny bit of work to do. We get a 7/2 t to the 1/2 plus or minus 2 t to the 3/2. And then plus 14t minus 8t squared. All right, and then if you've done this, you might as well, it was just polite to distribute the other term as well, because right now there's no reason to. That part doesn't have any problem, children, but we might as well be good about this. So it looks like we'll get a minus 7 square root of t. There's a negative here that's applying to everything, so I'm going to swap all the signs as I'm doing this distribution. I would have then had a plus 8t to the 3/2 minus, that minus 14t, and then a plus 16t squared. No reason to do this in the denominator because the denominator it's all factored, so there's really no reason to distribute that to make it cleaner. Now, again, we still have a fraction within a fraction, so that's our only real problem. Simplest thing is just multiply everything through by 2 in my numerator and my denominator, and multiplying by 2 over 2, which is 1. So I end up with something that looks a lot like, looks like I can actually add some stuff too. So I'm going to have, I'm just going to write above, this is going to be a 7 square root of t, which I have a minus 14 square root of t over here, so that'll end up being a negative 7 square root of t. Then I have a negative 4 t to the 3/2, and here I have a plus 8 t to the 3/2, so I'll end up with 4. And if you want to be cute about that, that's t root t. This would have been, I could get rid of those. I should have maybe cleaned those up ahead of time. No reason to multiply those both by 2. This one actually I didn't multiply by 2. This should have been a 16, right? You're all yelling at the screen. And then, I mean, I don't know why I'm multiplying my 2 after. I should have done my simplifying first. Looks like I'll have a positive 16t squared. All of this is over my 2, 7t minus 4t squared. Did I check my work here? No. So don't quote me on this. But I was hoping to see something like this, something showing that you knew how to multiply through by that denominator that occurred of our fractions within a fraction in order to fix things up.